Hello everyone, it is Joe, and this is my necklace. I think I look better with it out. I am processing some dreams, one in particular that I had. It's early, you can see I'm still in my tent. And you can probably hear the birds going crazy. I'm in a really beautiful forest and they're really loud. For a good amount of time in my dreams, I have seen the image of my father. I know it's not really him. The way I look at dreams, I see the different dream characters as parts of myself. And antagonist characters are unresolved, trapped, stifled, stagnant, confused parts of myself. And I'm using this opportunity of the video to unpack some of that with an audience. I like an audience, even for my most personal matters. Even though I understand that other people like to keep things secret. And I certainly respect you guys by, taking conversations from chat into the Facebook group or even into private messenger chats. Even though I do that, for me, I don't feel the need to hide anything. I don't feel shame very often. I do, but I think it's really important for us to unpack whatever's happened in our realities with each other and just put it out there and demand that other people accept us, demand that other people deal with what our unpacking means in their lives. That's really what makes people uncomfortable. A person like me may not follow the rules and conventions and taboos of our society. That's not my way. I promised myself as a child that when I became an adult I wouldn't follow along with all of the unnecessary and harmful rules that I saw all around me and saw all kinds of people obeying to their detriment. And now I'm walking that path. So anyway, I'm going to unpack some personal stuff. You know that I love to do this. Whether it's sacred sexuality, which I still feel taboo, and I like to talk about intimacy and sexuality in order to help the world and help myself. Because even though I'm wilder and bolder than some, I still have a lot to unpack. So the dream was about my father, and we had a very difficult relationship when I was growing up, and I experienced some unique forms of abuse. And I don't speak to him. I haven't spoken with him in probably a decade, and that has been really healthy for me. I did spend the decade before that trying to connect with him despite his own mental disorders and mine. I gave it a really good shot for the first decade after I turned 18 and became my own person shortly thereafter. And then I realized that I wasn't really getting through to him and I was just continuing to be damaged, so I stopped. And I've had a lot of dreams in the past where I have, where he's shown up, his figure has shown up. And it doesn't feel like a connection or a prophetic dream. I have had those dreams where I really feel that I've connected with living people. This is the inside of my head dream. This is the kind of dream where, like I said, characters in a dream are the parts of us that that resonate with that image. For example, if you're thinking about your inner child, if that part of you comes up in a dream, it may come up as a child or as an animal. For me, it can come up as an animal quite often. And in this case, I have no idea who my dad has turned into in the time that I've left him alone. I don't imagine that who I see in my dream is him. It's really not even who he was when I knew him. It's more so who I am, a part of me, who I am, the part of, what should I say? Not all of me, but the section of me that resonates with the past, that is still confused about the past, that doesn't know what to do. Oops, change the settings. Let's put that back. It really seems that this character, you know, my dad, has showed up in my dreams a lot and, you know, hurt me in interesting ways in the dreams. Not so much overtly, just kind of hurting me by being there and by acting the way that it does, by the way that that character does. And this character, of course, is a remnant. It's a remnant of all the things that I learned from my dad that were not healthy. The coping mechanisms that I developed to deal with, you know, being a child in an environment that he controlled. But nowadays, I'm not that person. I'm not a child anymore. I'm in an environment that I control, for the most part. You know, society at large and our beloved 1% control the world, you know, the physical world, you know, more than I do. But I control my personal world 100%. And that's pretty nice. As I wander around this world that other people have created and try to make sense of it and them, and sense of you all, really. Try to connect with people in a way that we can, you know, create stronger communities for everyone, not just the majority or those who fit in or those who have an extreme amount of power, but for everyone. And those mean small communities, you know, like the group of you that are listening to me that I love having people to resonate with. The people that I meet on my travels who I bring into this group, and the people that you guys refer to me as well. You know, it's one little community of many, all trying to make our world a better place, but not just the physical world, all of our inner worlds a better place by connecting and sharing information about what works and how we can make things better. So, digging back into the dream, today, as always, I have one topic that draws me through all of my creative expression, all of my improvisation. Talking is improvisation, unless you're reciting something, right? And can't you tell when somebody's reciting something? Doesn't it feel like not genuine, not in the moment? For anyone who doesn't understand improv, just talk with your friends. You do it all the time. Anyway, I have a main theme to draw me through, and it's this dream that I had. And like I said, I've been having these dreams for a long time. My dad's been showing up and messing with me in my dreams. And I've fought him, physically fought him, and done all kinds of things. I think I threw him down some stairs and beat him up in all kinds of different ways, and just kind of conquered and mastered in kind of an aggressive way that part of myself. Okay, that's good. I like to be in control and not have the part of me that was damaged or twisted as a child in charge. That's good, but I don't like the violence of it. I did some of that in this dream last night, or I should say today. It wasn't more than an hour ago, as far as I can remember. though time and sleep and dreams are all kind of, woo, you know how dream time is. Um, a lot of time can pass or none at all in a dream. It feels very strange. Um, though sometimes it goes in real time. It's really interesting. So, okay, so I paused the video because I realized I didn't have my microphone on, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is why people can't hear the sound. Oh, buddy, I better put in that microphone. Then I realized, after listening to the video, that it had sound, and I have no idea why the one from a couple days ago didn't have sound. I'm sure it was for a perfect reason. I don't know what it is. That's pretty normal for my life. I may figure that out. Who knows? So, luckily I don't need to start over, and I can pick up where I left off. I'm trying to find a way to get comfortable here to finish this conversation. Little tent yoga, perhaps. There we go. I like to use my phone for videos and the like while I stretch sometimes. I think I've recommended that here on the show. And in the tent where I can't stand up or even sit up, it's nice to do so to get some, entertainment, comfort, while I'm giving my body a little bit of what it needs. So I'm going to stretch, moving the camera so I can get into a deeper stretch here and keep going with you guys. For you meditation and yoga people, I'm glad I gave you a little bit of something in this video about stretching and the like. The real trick is to make it part of your everyday and not make it some kind of habit you have to observe. What should I say? Check out the middle part of my video from yesterday about habits and how flexibility is a lot better and more fun than habits, at least for me. Anyway, so as I'm stretching here, you'll see the camera move, but we'll both try not to get distracted by that. Anywho, that is pretty distracting. I'm sure I'll get better at it the more I do. Okay, so I have these dreams of my dad. I'm usually fighting him and trying to take control, which I've done in many recent dreams for years. And he shows up last night. I fight him. I kind of, take control. I express my anger and frustration at the shape my psyche is in, the unique shape that I have because of my experiences. I'm trying not to say damage, I'm trying to say shape. Just one kind of life, one kind of inner experience that I've had because of my past. Not making judgments, just descriptions. That's a catchphrase. Don't judge, just describe. I can tell you that my bike is black, that it has silver wheels, but I don't want to tell you if my bike is awesome or if it is a hunk of fuck. It's an old piece of slang that we used when we were on the road. Hunk of fuck. I love that phrase. I love all the creativity that comes along with people's use of so-called crass language. The color of those words, because we repress emotions and then let them out with those words, there's lots of fun that comes out with those words. There's lots of interesting color and I don't know, just kind of vivid expression that comes out when we use the words that people say we shouldn't. I'm not much for doing what I'm told, but I find that they're really fun to use. Those words, those forbidden words. Anyway, back on track. This dream, man, I fought him for a while and then kind of got under control and I didn't know what to do. He was kind of, well, first of all, he wasn't going away, he wasn't leaving me alone. He was almost bendy, flexible, like a, what do you call it? Like, um, like a claymation figure or like those bendable toys, if anybody remembers them when we were kids. Like these plastic toys. I guess they weren't plastic. They might have been some kind of bendable rubber toys, but they had wire in them so you could bend them and then they would stay where they were. You know, like a character, you could bend his arm and he'd be waving at you or something. Um, he was kind of like that, kind of bendable, and kind of slightly smaller and thinner than I remember. Still pretty tall, maybe not quite as tall as me, but still a pretty sizable um, influence on my life, on my inner life. So it was really fascinating to, in the dream, in a lucid moment of the dream, to try different things to make him go away. Try to um, be nice to him, try to love that part of me, because it isn't him, it's me, and I love me. And it's a me that wears his face, but it's a me that I love because it's part of me. And that, I think, is why we forgive people, because we have to let go of these attachments. We don't forgive people for them, but we do for us. And it's really important to let go. The word forgive is complicated because some people think it means, the way we use it in everyday speech. Like, oh, the judge forgave this parking ticket. You don't have to pay the punishment, or, you know, forgive means, in everyday speech, just letting something go and kind of saying that, it's all right, but don't do it again, that kind of thing. And a lot of us who've been hurt don't really want to forgive, don't want to say that the hurt was okay, or that it can be let go without recompense or without making it better. A lot of people who have victim mentalities, which I've, adopted some over the years, a lot of us don't want to go back into a victim mentality. We want to assert ourselves and be strong. And forgiveness feels like, letting someone hurt you again or whatever. So it's really just not a good word. Ultimately, the emotional meaning is letting go of our attachments to the past so that we can feel better. Wanting bad things to happen to a person, wanting revenge, is maybe a step in the forgiveness process, and it's something we need to let go of. Whether that's, large or small, we may want, the equivalent of a parking ticket or some judge to levy a heavy fine upon the person who hurt us. And the way this world works, we can't go back and change the past. So whatever harm is done to that person, doesn't change what happened. The past is there. The past is the past. Some people believe with the law of attraction you can change the past. I don't know if that's true. I know you can certainly think about the past in any way you want. Reframe the past. Some people would say you can actually change it. Make it healthier. Maybe that's true. I won't say that it isn't, out of agnosticism, but it feels still kind of far away to change the past, and for people to say, oh no, my past was beautiful, my past was great, I had all these wonderful experiences, and kind of recreate it. I don't know. I don't know if that's true and if it's healthy for people to delude themselves in that way, or if there is some kind of magic where you really can change the past. I don't know. So, there's an animal. I want to see if I can see it. Nope. Might just be a stick falling out of a tree. False alarm. One wonderful thing about being in the forest is you get to see some of the animals, but you hear a lot more of them than you ever get to meet, especially at night. So, to refocus, I love this process of tangenting and refocusing. It really works for me. Putting out an idea, a goal, something I really want to resolve that's hot and fresh. I sound like a pastry commercial, but you know what I mean. Something I really want to deal with, and then letting my mind wander and come back to it for the time that I'm with you really allows me to bring out new insights and things that I hope can benefit us all. So, yeah, in the dream, I fought him, then he kind of became bendable. I thought maybe I need to be nice to him and give him a hug or something, and I can't remember if I did or if I tried to and it didn't work, or if I partially did but not with a full heart because I was still kind of pissed at him. I'm not exactly sure how that worked in the dream. I'm glad I remember as much of it as I do, and of course I started this video as soon as that memory popped up. As I was going about my morning, I just said, oh, I remember this dream. Time to do something. Time to talk about it quickly. Because my dreams are really important to me, and I really value when I get messages. This one from my subconscious, though some of them feel like they're from further afield. Maybe opening up some of my subconscious will allow me to get more fun, prophetic, and spiritual messages in my dreams as I uncloud and uncork all of this energy that's stifled within me that takes the face of my dad, right? So, I remember in this lucid moment of the dream that I mentioned earlier, I think I was just getting to it when I tangented somewhere, but in this lucid moment of my dream, I knew, and I expressed my frustration. I just knew that I was intentionally trying to deal with this. I was conscious for a moment, lucid. Sometimes my lucid dreams are longer than others. And I just said, hey, what do I have to do? Like, what do I have to do to make this go away? What do I have to do to resolve this? Because let's face it, it's not going to go away. It's a part of me. I'm going to change it into something else. Maybe that's what I need to do next time in my dream. Lucid dreams allow us to change things, characters, and situations, realities, physical structures in our dreams. Like the movie Inception, for those of you who've seen it. And I have some skill and some ability to have lucid dreams. Some people are really, really deep into this. They really get into lucid dreams. I'm okay at it. To be honest, the most magical thing that happens in my dreams is when I get kind of messages with information that I didn't know in my daily life. A couple of times I've received warnings that sadly I didn't heed because I was really attached to the situation. I didn't want to let it go, but this was a romantic situation. This is not my dad, but I received some warnings about a romantic situation that was going south, and it wasn't just my subconscious. There was information in these dreams that I didn't know, that I clarified with my romantic partner at the time, to realize, like, wow, I just learned a name, or in one case saw an image, a tattoo that identified a person. And, woo! Let me try that again. And, yeah, I get, that's not good. I don't like that glare. I get images that, dream images, that I don't know. I didn't know that information in real life. Now, the skeptic in me says, well, maybe I did get that information somehow, but just forgot that I knew it. It came up from my subconscious. Maybe I did know those things about those people. But these are people that I've either not met or only met once. Maybe other people mentioned things about them, and I forgot and it came up in the dream. But maybe not. Maybe I really did just pick up that information, and maybe it was some other kind of sensory perception, that I got that information some other way. Maybe from a romantic partner that I was very connected with on a spiritual level. Maybe some of her experiences, memories came to me. I don't know. But it's possible. And that's the thing I'm very curious about, is the possibility of magic. Not to say that it is true if I don't know for sure that it is. Not to say that anything I can't prove is true, but to say that it might be true. And that's much more fun, because if you can prove something like, hey, when I drop something, it falls to the ground, we probably have some gravity going on here. Like, okay, yeah, that's pretty basic. You drop something that goes to the ground. You take it for granted. Everything, our physical bodies, our structures we build, the trees in the forest, they're all built on the concept of gravity, right? You take us all into space where there is no gravity, and we're a lot different. So just like that structure of gravity is something we take for granted and we've built, all of our lives around. I'm losing myself in a metaphor. Dang it. I have two tendencies, tangents and losing myself in metaphors. I get so excited about the metaphors that I forget what they meant. But yeah, I'm thinking about spirituality here. If we take it, if we can prove it, we can take it for granted. That's me catching up with my metaphor. I'm very glad not to lose that one. I almost lost it. But that's the idea. We have gravity. We take it for granted. If some new force of nature that pulled us sideways showed up, we would not take it for granted. We would be very excited about this new and interesting force in our lives. We'd try to figure out, well, when does it happen and when does it not, and how does it work? We'd have to rebuild structures around it. And that's the thing with spirituality, too, is the things we can prove, like other people probably exist. Some philosophers will point out that, yeah, we can't prove that other people exist. This could all be a simulation, right? But it's one of those things where we've got about 99% proof that other people exist, right? You go up, you talk to them, they talk back. You poke them, they poke you back. You punch them in the face, they punch you in the face back. You give them a hug, they give you a hug back. We have these interactive others in our lives that, are probably real. Virtually everyone operates under the assumption that they are. And there's other things that we take for granted. There's other things that we don't know about. We can't take for granted. Those are the speculative things, and those are fun. If we could prove them, we would take them for granted, These things that show up a few times in a lifetime, that are unexplainable are really fun and mysterious. Maybe it's the mystery of figuring out the science of them. Maybe it's the mystery of figuring out something else about them, the intuition of them. Who knows? I just find that they're fascinating. Yeah. I've got a bug in my tent. Hold on a second. That's what I get for leaving the door open. There we go. The door is open because it's getting hot in here. So, anyway, to wrap up, and I know I've got a lot of tangents today. Thank you for rolling with me. But unpacking dreams is that way, because it comes from that intuitive place where everything's happening at once and we're having all of our thoughts and experiences at once, and it's not very logical. We're asleep. Our conscious mind is shut down for repairs and rejuvenation. So anyway, yeah, I had this dream. I fought my dad. He became kind of bendy and flexible. I realized he's not quite as ominous and threatening as he was in previous dreams, which makes me feel that I've made some progress. I feel that maybe I can transmute him. I say him, but I mean his image, not him. But this part of myself that shows up in dreams, maybe I can try to give it a hug. That didn't seem to work in the dream, probably because I don't genuinely want to give this part of myself a hug. Probably because I still associate with a person I don't want to hug. But maybe I can do some more of that. Maybe I can transmute it into something else. Transmute it into courage or insight or compassion for others in similar situations or something like that. I don't know what form it'll take, but I'm really glad to unpack this dream because it's a step, it's a stepping stone. It continues something that's been going on for a while, and I'm very eager to access all of the inner resources that go into maintaining this conflict within me. By resolving this conflict, all of those resources can be put towards moving ahead in life and having fun instead of, fighting and wasting energy. In all the wars that we fight, we waste tremendous amounts of energy. The world wars that we fought in the last century sapped tons of energy, resources, tons of human lives and human suffering. It just sapped Europe. And Europe lost its dominance of the world because it was fighting amongst itself. All the big powers and their colonies were fighting each other. It was a change of worlds. It was a time when colonialism ended, which is, in my mind, very positive. As an American person, we're taught that colonialism is bad. And from all the evidence I've seen, it certainly looks like exploitation to me. We have globalization, we have new forms of exploitation, of course, but... Hey there, I was just wrapping up the video and I got a phone call. I forget that this thing actually takes phone calls once in a while. So, I was talking about war, I was talking about colonialism, I was talking about how I don't want to judge it, but it feels like a negative to me. Exploitation feels like a negative to me, though maybe if I release judgment on that, I can discover something about it. But war is destructive, and our inner wars are the ones we need to resolve first. Unless you're literally in a war zone, you probably don't have a lot of control over whether countries go to war. Unless you're one of the top 3 to 5 influential leaders in a country, you may not have a lot of influence over whether your country is at war. But your inner war, you're stifling yourself, you're in conflict with yourself. One part of yourself is fighting another part of yourself. Those wars you can resolve. And hopefully beyond that we can resolve wars with people in our lives. Maybe just 1 or 2 of them. Maybe just some people that are close to us who are willing to work on that process. But those are the wars we can really, really resolve. Beyond that, if we get good at it, that type of energy, that type of resolution, that type of not getting caught up in negative feelings, not allowing ourselves to be triggered back into old patterns, that'll spread across the world, and it'll make it much more difficult for leaders to convince their people to go to war. I really believe the best way for us to create peace on Earth is opportunity for all, sharing resources, all those kind of things that people go to war about, resources and the like. But to do that is to start where you are and resolve the wars inside you. Resolve everything that's keeping you from reaching your fullest potential, just as war and conflict on a global scale prevents our species and our planet, all the species on our planet, from realizing all of our potentials. So, I'm still resolving. I feel like I've made some progress. I really like the idea that this character in my dream was easier to defeat and not as threatening as it has been in the past. I like the fact that I had a lucid moment where I was like, what do I do? I've tried beating it up. I've tried giving it a hug. What should I do? I like that I've talked with you guys here on the show and that I'm able to say, maybe I can transmute it into something. That's what I want to do. I want to release this energy, blockage, conflict. You know, that's what a conflict is. It's what a war is. You have a lot of energy pushing against, one side against the other. You find a farm field or something somewhere, some area of the world, geographically a small area, and you just cram a bunch of people and weapons into it until one side gives. They push against each other. Especially in World War One, I've learned quite a bit about World War One from Dan Carlin, who's a really fun historian. And yeah, we do that within ourselves. One side is pushing the other, and if they both released that struggle and strain and found a way not to be triggered into antagonism with each other, we'd have all this energy. And some of it is the energy of the pushing. Some of it is just that there's messages and intuition and information that we can't hear over the din, over the noise of the conflict. Messages that would give us even more internal resources. A message that says, try this or do that or go over here and you'll get more energy. We can't hear that when we're paying attention to the war. When we can't hear anything over the din of the battle, the noise. That word din is so funny. We only use it in reference to war. It must be a really old word that we just kind of keep around almost as an idiom. That's a really fun word, din. Wow. The fascinating thing about short words like that is that they're more likely to be some of the more basic older words. As time progresses, we combine them and combine short words to make longer words, and those are some of the newer words. So I wonder if din is really old. Is it Anglo-Saxon? Does anybody know? Is it Celtic? Is it, I don't know, Latin? So, anyway, let me wrap this up by saying I'm proud of myself for unpacking this dream in public. I'm proud of myself for thinking to do it at all. And for having a lucid moment in the dream of saying, hey, this isn't working. What else can I try? And I know that in my daily life, my subconscious will start doing this new strategy of transforming and transmuting a conflict, both sides of the conflict, not just the bad guys, but the good guys too. Because there are no good guys and bad guys, and whether sleeping or being awake, I'm going to resolve this. So this one has been pretty self-indulgent. Not that the whole series of shows isn't, but I hope you will take from this maybe a model of a person going through an experience, a model of one way that we can take another step in our journey. I'm certainly opening up my mind and my heart and not hiding things from you, all of my lovely listeners, trying to be as honest I can with you as you can watch my journey, see how it parallels your own when you're ready to share. We have a Facebook group, which is a place where you can connect with other people who will understand your references to my show, and people with a similar mindset. You can also feel welcome to make YouTube comments here below, and certainly subscribe if you haven't already. But the comments, they're not very long. YouTube comments used to be a thing, and then I guess people abused them and flamed each other a lot or put in long spiels or advertising, so they cut them pretty short nowadays. So you can have all the room you need to talk on the Facebook group. Of course, you can just find me on Facebook. I'm Joe Neely. I look like this. I usually come up in the first few search terms for my name. There's a lot of ways to find me. The best is just to go to joeneely.net/community, where I've listed all of the different places you can find me online and given you all the links so you don't have to remember, all the stuff I just said. So, thank you for being there through this series of videos. It took me 3 videos um, to finish this dream, all in rapid succession, just being interrupted by silly things like thinking, oh my gosh, I need a microphone, and oh my gosh, maybe I got a phone call. But bear with me. I'm doing my best to put my genuine self out there for you guys and develop formats such as the tangenting around a theme format that can give you the most value. Let me know if there's ways I might give you more value, ways I might present my genuine self to you in a way that really, really helps other people. I hope, like I said, that my example, just seeing a person going through their journey without hiding it, without censoring it, I really hope that that will have value for you, your friends, and a lot of people out there. As we work together as a community to kind of build up this show and certainly, like I said, through the feedback process, help me shape myself every day into more and more of a example, more and more of a avatar of what's possible, I guess. More and more of a teacher. Someday I'd like to teach. Right now I'm just sharing, but maybe that's all teachers ever do. So help me on my process. Give me feedback with love so it's easy for me to take it. And I certainly love you all, and I will give you feedback, as I've done once at least in the past, on any questions you have about your journeys. I love to share. So let's all teach each other. Let's continue to make a nice community of kindred spirits. I really feel that that's something I'm called to do. A little humble about taking the lead on it, but it's something I want to do, so I'm doing it. And thank you for bearing with my heartfelt tangents as I slowly unravel myself and become more and more of myself as we all bloom together in this garden called Earth. Yay, that's a nice image. Let's end there. I love you all. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.